Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Now, our first topic today is on real estate. What exactly is happening here locally in the market in Switzerland, and does it form a much wider problem globally? Well, in the studio today I'm joined by Frederic Schmalz, who is an associate at Elme Concept, which is a construction company that specialises in real estate. Frederic, welcome to the studio.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome, you're welcome. You may have seen, just obviously in my brief intro there, we're looking predominantly here at real estate and a slight change, a problem that's going on particularly in Switzerland. I know you want to focus on that for this interview, but just the first question I'd like to ask is, can you give us an overall feeling of real estate globally at the moment?
Yeah, so since 2008, most markets collapsed around the world. It's true in USA, it was the case in UK, and some market was still going on well. It was like, for example, Paris will still rise, and some main city like Moscow and Geneva and Zurich. So it's the exception, it's those countries, but most part of them, like in Europe, in south of Europe, decrease. And the main question now is why we are still high in Switzerland, because we had a huge increase, huge rise during the last 10 years.
Okay, let's focus in then on Switzerland here, because I know that's why you're predominantly here. There's a problem, there's a change going on, isn't there, in places like, in key cities like Geneva, where there's a decrease, a reduction in demand for real estate. Can you tell me, a little bit more about that and why we're seeing this reduction in real estate in, say, Geneva, for instance, in Switzerland?
Yeah, so in Switzerland, we have the average of Switzerland. So the increasing was like quite normal the last 10 years, but we have two different areas. The average in Switzerland market, but if we focus in Zurich, Basel, and Geneva, and the area of Geneva, like Lausanne, maybe we are in a bubble market, and all specialists agree about that. But the expectation of most of them, and for professional, is like to say, no, it's just we make a stop of the rise, and then maybe it will be able to rise again in the future. But in real estate, we have to keep in mind that we have just two slopes. We rise or we decrease. So we can't have a flat slope during many years. It's just an utopia. And so now maybe if we have reached the top, what we can do, rise again or decrease.
And what do you think? Do you think?
Yeah, so most part of people say, okay, we can decrease like 5 or 10% in this kind of area, like in Geneva, but probably it will be worse than 5 or 10%. We can have a decrease of 30%, like in 19s, because we had this kind of problem in Switzerland in 19s.
Why are we seeing such still seeing such a high facial price though at the moment?
Yeah, the problem is now, the professional can say that we feel and we know that the market stopped to rise, because, for example, we have less transfer taxes registered in the canton of Vaud and in Geneva, so that means we have less transaction. It's a fact, and now it's longer to sell flats or house. Maybe it's normal now to wait 6 or 10 months to sell a new flat, in a new program. And those last years, it was like in 3 or 2 weeks, maybe the half of the program was sold easily. But it wasn't normal. Now maybe it's a better market.
If you were looking at a non-owner, what advice would you be giving, briefly, if you could, Frederic, to owners of a property currently now in Switzerland and non-owners, i.e. people renting or whatever?
For owners, we have two options. It depends if you want to keep your flat or house. It's really important. If you want to keep it and still live inside, or maybe rent it, if you have to move, it's really important to look the interest rate, because for sure now it's really cheap. So it's important to to have this kind of thoughts now, and just to imagine, okay, if I want to keep it for a long time, maybe I can fix it, because it's less than 2% for the final price. For 10 years you can negotiate, you can get it, so at least your cash flow will be stable, even if the value of your asset decrease. Okay, your cash flow, it's okay, and your rent, and you can earn during 5 or 10 years, and wait that price will recover. Now, if you want to sell, maybe it's important to really speak with a real estate agent, with your bank, and just focus about what is the real price, not have a huge expectation, because if you want to sell. And
for non-owners, briefly?
And for non-owners, if you find the property for you, it's your property, your dream, and you want to live there with your family, of course it's high, but you have just to say, okay, I can lose my own asset, because you lost your own asset at the beginning, and not the mortgage, and so it's why we put own asset, and it's security for the bank. So it's a pity if you lost all your saving or part of your saving in your flat. But you must be aware that it could be a possibility. So fix the rate for sure, at least to have your cash flow stable. Because if the interest rate rise, your rent can double in 6 months or 1 year, so it's really a huge amount, so it's difficult. And but if you have time and you are cash, maybe it's better to wait. So you can wait 1-2 years if you can, and have a good opportunity.
Well, Frederic, thank you very much for coming into the studio today and sharing with us your ideas on real estate.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. It was a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. That's all we've got time for on Dukascopy TV for the moment. We'll be introducing Everest markets later on today, so stay tuned for that. But for now, and from all of us here at Dukascopy TV, goodbye.